The following is a presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports. Live from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison, this is the Chris Ash Show. Your chance to talk with the head coach of the Scarlet Knights on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Tonight's show is brought to you by To be a part of the show, give us a call at 1-877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. Now, let's go live to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison to talk Rutgers football.
And welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Chris Ash Show right here on 1450 WCTC in New Brunswick and on RVision on ScarletKnights.com and Facebook Live as well. Chris Carlin alongside former Scarlet Knight Eric LeGrande. How are we doing this week?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. And Coach Ash is with us as usual. Coach, great to be with you. How you doing?
You know what? I couldn't be better. I'm sitting here between two celebrities. I've got E on my right, and I've got the new host.
Yes.
New host. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On my left. So
Thank you.
I'm doing great.
I'm doing pretty good, too.
Yeah, I'm
it's
sure
been a
you
good
are.
couple days.
Yeah.
It's been a good couple days, and I'm excited. But I'm definitely excited to be getting out to Indiana this week as Rutgers looks to chase their fifth win of the season. We want to talk to you about it at 877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. You can tweet us your questions at Rutgers Radio. And, of course, if you're in attendance here at Quaker Steak and Lube, come on up front. Get your questions in. We'll take them on Facebook Live as well. So coming out of this past week, Coach, let's get to what you took out of the loss out at Penn State. Your football team got out to a 6-0 lead, ran the football very well in the first half. What were the things that stood out to you?
Well, we did some good things. Obviously disappointed in the final score. 35-6 isn't what we wanted, but we did get out to a fast start. Disappointing in a few things that really made a difference in the game. First and foremost, our inability to consistently get things going. You know, offensively, we started out fast. We could run the ball, could move the ball, put together a couple nice drives. We just couldn't put it in the end zone. And we get in the red zone, we want touchdowns, not field goals, and we couldn't get them, especially that opening drive after we recovered the kick. Our inability on third down to be able to move the sticks and get first downs. Those two situational things hurt us. And then defensively, we did a nice job of stopping the run, but we couldn't match up consistently against their skill players. And they got some plays in the pass game and some explosive plays that hurt us.
And when you go in a week like that, when you know they have multiple guys like that, how do you try to emphasize that in practice when you got a guy like Saquon Barkley that you have to stop, what you guys did a great job of, but that you have Trace McSorley, you know, you have the wide receivers on the outside, Gesicki at tight end. How hard is that to emphasize that in practice and try to, you know, be able to key in and tone in on that?
You know, the emphasis is a lot easier than the execution. You know, so you know we can emphasize it, but to be able to actually execute what we want to do and be able to stop all the weapons that Penn State has, that was a difficult challenge. But first and foremost, we want to stop the run. We needed to make sure that we limited the yards and explosive plays that Barkley had. I think we did a good job of that. We knew McSorley. I think he's a great player. Myself, I think he's really the key to that offense, and we couldn't stop him. He could run. He scrambled around, made some plays with his feet, threw balls down the field, and that is what hurt us.
You know, one thing that has really stood out is lately line play. Thought your offensive line did a very nice job the other day in protecting. Didn't give up a sack in the game, and this year, I believe the number's lowest in the Big Ten allowed. And also the run blocking. I mean, it was very, very solid the other day, able to move some people around. And I know earlier in the year that was an area that you were concerned about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really pleased with the progress that we've made up front on both sides of the ball. You know, coming into this season, we knew we were bigger and we were stronger. We were deeper on both lines. We just needed to go out and play. And early on, you know, we started the season off fairly good against Washington, but then we didn't capitalize on that. We didn't continue to build on that and improve over the next couple weeks. We just kept grinding away and kept doing what we do. And I think right now our offensive and defensive lines are playing very well. We are physical on both sides of the ball. We can run the ball. Our D-line is doing a great job of gap integrity and controlling the line of scrimmage. We're putting more pressure on the quarterback. We've gotten 6 sacks, I believe, in the last 2 games. We'd only had 7 in all the games combined before that. So we're making progress and going the right direction, and that's all I really care about right now.
And speaking of moving guys around, talk about DeCoven Bailey, goes out there. Had the first pressure on Trace McSorley, almost got him down, but comes out after a big momentum shift, gets a big 3rd down sack, and I believe I saw him catch a screen before halftime too. So talk about him going both ways.
Yeah, he's a 3-way player for us right now. I mean, he's arguably our best special teams player. He's doing what he can to help on offense, and we're using him on defense. And it's really kind of cool. We got DeCoven Bailey, Miles Nash have been kind of 2-way players for us here for a while. Juwan Harris has played both ways, and we might have that again this week with some guys. So we might lead the country in 2-way players.
With some of your defense the other day. Now, in some situations, they were put on a short field, so it was a little bit trickier, but evaluated as a whole in what you saw in the game. Now, obviously, the point total is not what you want it to be, but it was not as if seemingly that Penn State was moving the football up and down the field all day.
No, we made them work for their yards and their points. We didn't give up a whole lot of yards. We're right around 300 yards, which honestly, that's not a bad day's work when you talk about that, but it's the points that matter. That's really what you measure on. It's the amount of points that you give up. We don't make excuses for field position. We want to win the battle of field position. We did not. Last Saturday, Penn State won that battle and got the ball in some really good field position. They capitalized on it, put the ball in the end zone. But, I compare when we lose a game like that, we played them last year. I go back and I look at the comparisons. How were we against them last year? How were we against them this year? We lost both games, but where did we improve? And there was a lot of improvement coming out of last season. We got physically whipped in that game in 2016 at the line of scrimmage and in the skilled positions. That wasn't the case this week. We've made a lot of progress in that area. That's our focus, and that's what we got to keep doing.
And as you mentioned, the field position game, I wanted to ask you, what did you see on film from the punt team? Because it looked like, they got down there, they were making coverages. There was even a muff punt at one time, but it was hard because the offense usually was backed up. So I guess the field position battle didn't look that great, but how did you observe the punt team on film?
Yeah, the coverage part of it was outstanding. Ryan was a little inconsistent with his punts. We would have one that would go 45 yards and 34 yards, then 50 yards, and then back to 36 yards. He's disappointed that he's not hitting, the 45 to 50 yard balls consistently every time out. But our coverage has definitely improved. I thought they did a nice job. We ended the game with a better net punt than Penn State, and that's one of our special teams goals, is to have a better net punt in a game, and we had that. We hit that goal.
Coach, let's take our first phone call of the night. Our telephone number is 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869. Here's our friend Mark in Branchburg. Mark, what's up? You're on the Chris Ash Show.
Chris, first of all, I want to congratulate you on the new gig. I am thrilled as a 40-year Rutgers fan to have somebody in the afternoon who will make positive comments about Rutgers, but I'm thrilled for you and the other 2 people.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Mark.
Coach Ash, I was really impressed with the defense the other day, especially after the Janarian Grant fumble, how they didn't even score. And my other comment is, how healthy is Blackshear?
Blackshear's healthy. He played last week. He'll play this week. He was banged up there for a couple weeks in a row with a pretty severe quad bruise, but he's healthy. And
again, the defense I thought was terrific on Saturday.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't like giving up 35 points, but we did some good things. We made some key stops, and we'll just keep getting better. To build a winning program, you got to play great on defense, and that's what we're going to do.
Appreciate the phone call very much, Mark. 877-384-1869. We will also get to your questions on Twitter and on Facebook as well. So let's talk about a couple of individual guys that I think have really come a long way. One guy that is not talked about a whole lot is Elam Lumore. And he's somebody that you really watch, and he's a heck of a lot more active, and you can just really start to see where that progression is being made.
Yeah, he's done a nice job this year. He's played some really significant snaps, throughout the season because of Kamoko's injury, but just because of he deserves it because of what he does in practice every day. And I'm really excited about his future. He's a guy that's got a couple years left, and he's going to continue to improve and get better. And he's making a lot of plays so far this year, and he just keeps working really hard at it.
Another guy, Deontay Roberts, I see him while I was watching the game. Every now and then I would see him. He seemed like he was cued in on Saquon Barkley in the backfield. As soon as he touched the ball, Deontay Roberts was there. Can you talk about a little bit of the game plan of how it was to secure him or put one man on him? Was it anything specific like that?
No, not necessarily. It's about reading your keys and reacting to what your keys tell you, and through film study, and that's what Deontay has done a great job of this year. He's learning how to study film. He's learning how to pick up on backfield sets. He's learning how to pick up on steps and footwork of the backs to kind of get an idea of what they're doing. And that's really what it was about. It wasn't anything special. It was about him honing in on his run-pass keys, being able to react to what he sees and get to the right spots and then make plays when he's there. And that's probably the part of the game that he's really improved upon.
C.J. Onyechi, another guy kind of at that same spot. And you've turned to him, and he seemingly has improved a lot. We've seen him a lot on special teams, but even more now on defense as the season has gone along.
Yeah, he got in there, got some reps last Saturday. He had a big tackle for loss. And I really am high on him. I think he's got a chance to have a bright future. I really love what he's doing on our kickoff coverage team right now. He's going down. He's very physical at the point of attack, making plays. Kind of reminds me of an old E, a little bit. But, I really like what he's brought to our football team for a young kid.
And another guy, Saquon Hampton, what's it like getting him back and some action out there?
Yeah, he got limited action last Saturday. First time back with limited practice reps after a pretty severe injury. But he's 100% cleared, and we'll play more this Saturday.
All right, we'll talk more about the matchup with Indiana. That is coming up on Saturday at 12 noon. As Rutgers with 2 regular season games left. Indiana, that game, in case you hadn't known, was slated for a 12 noon kick. And then also the Michigan State game on Thanksgiving weekend is good for a 4 p.m. kick as well at High Point Solution Stadium on Senior Day. 877-384-1869. We hit our telephones coming up in just moments. More questions for the coach as we talk Rutgers football with Rutgers head coach Chris Ash. Stay with us at Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison on Route 1. You're listening to the Chris Ash Show.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING. When you're looking for tickets to that sold-out event, there's only one place to go. TickCity.com, the official secondary ticket partner of Rutgers Athletics. Scarlet Knight fans can save 10% on all orders when you use the discount code Rutgers at checkout. From sporting events to the hottest concerts, Broadway and family shows across the country, all your ticket needs are covered at your fan-friendly ticket source. TickCity.com. That's TickCity.com.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
When Samantha was in dire need of a new heart, she turned to RWJ Barnabas Health, who performs more adult heart transplants than any healthcare system on the East Coast.
I'm still here.
Jean cherishes every moment spent with her great-grandkids, thanks to our kidney transplant program that ranks among the nation's top 10.
Still here.
Robert promised his granddaughter he'd make it to her next birthday. Thanks to New Jersey's only lung transplant center, he did.
I'm not going anywhere.
From corneal and pancreatic transplants to heart, kidney, and lung, our patients aren't who they used to be. They're better. Learn more about our transplant centers at Newark Beth Israel Medical Center, St. Barnabas Medical Center, and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Visit rwjbh.org/transplant. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
We have returned to Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. Chris Carlin along with Eric LeGrand and Rutgers head coach Chris Ash. Wanted to highlight some of the other guys that you've seen a lot of progress out of. And, you know, when you look at the defensive line, we've mentioned a couple of guys already, but it's a position right now where you're running, 10, 11 guys out there, and it seems like you're pretty comfortable with the guys who are out there, and a couple of them that come to mind. First of all, one is a starter, and again, under the radar, when healthy, has had a very good year, and that's John Badeke.
Yeah, John Badeke's had a solid year. He got hurt against the Washington game with a high ankle sprain, but since he's been back, he's just Mr. Solid in there. He's steady. He works really hard, quietly does his job. He got violent hands. He's just physical and strong at the point of attack, and really like him and what he's doing right now.
And I want to bring him to the offensive side. I got to see a little special on Tariq Cole this week on the Big Ten Network. How he was over 400 pounds and everything he's doing. But I always thought he was a quiet guy. But actually getting to watch that, he's a guy that leads, and he says he's not scared to tell the truth. So what's it like having him in the locker room?
You know what? He's really come out of his shell, and he's growing up. He's maturing. Not only change his body, just change his mindset and his approach to what we're doing. And couldn't be more proud of him and how he's trying to lead that offensive line.
A couple of the others, Julius Turner, Willington Prevalon, two more on that defensive line, Coach.
Yeah, they're good young players that have really developed themselves over the last year. Last year Julius was a redshirt. He was undersized. He just spent a year in the weight room and really got bigger and stronger, leaner. He's quick. He's not very big. At 5, 11, whatever, I think they list him at that. Might not be that, but he's quick in there. He's great with his hands. Just has a feel to play football. And what we're doing defensively with him at nose guard's a perfect fit for him. And Will has been, I think, had a really quiet, outstanding season. To be honest with you, he's big, he's strong. He's really developed the use of his hands. He's rushing the passer better, and very excited what he can do in the future.
I would talk about a senior now and running back Robert Martin. Whenever his number is called, I feel like he just goes in there and gets the job done. Whatever you ask him to do, if it's blocking, if it's hitting the hole fast, getting to the outside, I just feel like he gets the job done whenever his number is called. Can you talk about how it's been now with coaching him up and having, to be the second guy kind of to Gus?
Yeah, Rob's had an outstanding senior season. I think him and Coach Herb have done a great job of building a relationship of trust, and they work well together. I think Gus coming in has been a great thing for Rob also. They've built a great relationship. They're very competitive. They make each other better. I really like that 1-2 dynamic between Gus and Rob. And Rob has really grown up and matured, and he's had a really focused senior year, and he practices hard every single day. And like you said, it seems like every time he touches the ball, he gets something positive happens. He gets positive yards, and he helps our football team. And I just like the really physical and mental development and maturity that Rob has displayed over the last year.
Let's get to the phones once again, 877-384-1869. Tweet your questions at Rutgers Radio. It's our old friend William in Burlington. Coach.
Oh, I thought he was blocked.
How's it going, fellas?
Big word.
Big E, what's going on? Congratulations, Big C, on your what do you call your new
job.
New gig.
Thank you very much, Warren.
You're so excited to call, you can't even talk.
Now, I normally listen to Luther Vandross going on, but I got to listen to it now.
Well, I can honestly say I have never had anybody turn off Luther Vandross to listen to me before, so that's an honor.
Might be the only one.
Hey, Coach, your D looked good again early on. That's good to see that you can plug guys in there. Your offense is improving a little bit. But question, what's the all-season plans for the quarterbacks and wide receivers? As far as getting a rhythm and working together?
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do there. Obviously, it's no secret. I look at it, to be really successful and effective in the passing game, it requires a lot of time and effort, and, it's a lot of timing. And, when you look at the wide receivers that are playing for us, we have 3 true freshmen that are playing right now, and the quarterback that's playing, they haven't worked together very long. And a lot of the timing that you need and a lot of the trust that needs to be built, you do that in the off season. So our off season throwing sessions with our quarterbacks and receivers are going to be so critical. Our film study sessions, with them are going to be so critical for the development of our pass game and building the trust, and developing the receivers and the quarterback to be on the same page. And it's going to be critical for us to do that. We'll start that right whenever our season is over.
I hope it's a short off season. You ain't got to worry about number 14. I keep hearing about separation. I'm going to get me a pit bull mixed with an alligator, and you're going to chase him every morning.
I hope.
It won't be fast. Don't worry about that. I got it.
I hope that pit bull and that alligator don't catch him. I kind of like the kid.
Well, hey, I wish you all the luck this coming weekend. We're still rooting for you. I believe in the process now. I see a lot of improvement, and that's awesome.
Well, I appreciate it. I can tell you this. You're one guy that will turn on and listen to Chris Carlin now, and you're one guy that still supports us, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, Worm.
Absolutely. You guys have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Our guy Jim and Worm never fails to bring it.
A pit
It's
bull and an
amazing.
alligator
Man,
mix.
I guarantee you, right now he's thinking about his stuff. I guess this is our last Wednesday, right?
It is.
We might have to have a
holiday
special
next
call in for Big Worm next Wednesday.
Big Worm.
Yeah.
Let's get to a question here from one of our regulars, and that's Jim in North Brunswick, who's here at Quaker Steak and Lube. What's up, buddy?
This is another one that next Wednesday we're going to have to show up just for him.
Exactly. What do you got plans for next week already or not?
I'm all good.
All right.
What's going on, man?
Chris, congratulations.
Thank you.
Question for Eric LeGrand. Eric, when you were playing here at Rutgers, you played in the Big East. Mm-hmm. And as you observe who we play now in the Big Ten, how do you compare the old Big East to the Big Ten and the level of competition that you see?
I see is the physicality, honestly. You got bigger guys in the Big Ten than there was in the Big East. We played a lot of some pro-style teams, but also we played some spread teams in the South Florida, things like that. We were a smaller defense predicated on speed back then and trying to force turnovers, things like that. Where now you have games where you have to line up and you have to play some big boy football. And you're going to face double teams all game long and gap schemes, things like that. So I just see the physicality of the game now is more, it can wear on you more than when I was playing in the Big East. That's the biggest thing I see the difference of.
Thanks, Eric. And Coach, there was an article written recently about a team in the Big Ten that was maybe tipping plays off, the way their linemen were lining up, whether they were leaning forward or leaning back. Do you guys, when you do film study, look for that kind of stuff as to whether or not it's a run or a pass play? When you do your film study, do you notice and see whether or not offensive guards or tackles are leaning forward or leaning back, pressure on their hands, et cetera, to tip your guys off as to whether or not what they're doing?
Absolutely. Every team you play, there's signs that tell you what they're going to do. Whether it be your offensive lineman stance, light stance, heavy stance, whatever, backfield sets, splits, eyes. There's a lot of things out there on film. If you study it long enough, that can give you some help, and you can steal plays based on what they do. It's every team. It's not just one team. Every team you play, you can get some sort of indicators typically. And defense is no different. Offenses study defenses, and they can get indicators on where pressure may be coming from, based off of safety alignments, based off of shades of your defensive lineman, where a linebacker may be aligned. So it's a cat and mouse game on both sides.
Good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. This weekend you're going out to Indiana. It's a final road game of the season and a chance to kind of, once again, we've talked about this before, getting your team on the road, and you'd much rather play at home, certainly, but you get that opportunity to kind of get them away from everything and preparing them for a game.
Yeah, when you play a home game, there are a lot of distractions. It's tickets, it's family, and girlfriends, and all this stuff that can distract you from doing your job. When you go on the road, you've got the distraction of the crowd and the fans for the opponent, but you really decrease the distractions that your team gets exposed to when you go on the road, and that's the good part about it.
And I like what you said last week, how you try to simulate with the crowd noise during practice on what it's actually going to be in the stadium. With like last week you said with the line raw and things like that. And how does that come up in the offseason, or you just think about that during the year? Like, okay, we're going to try to simulate exactly what they're doing, because most of the time people just try to pump in crowd noise, and it's not actually what it does, what they do in the stadium.
Yeah, I guess that's probably a benefit of being in the Big Ten for a while. Played in every stadium, have a pretty good feel on the different venues. Ones that are loud, what are their traditions? What makes it special versus one that doesn't. And I just look at the more you can prepare your players for that situation, the better they're going to handle it. And Penn State's got a great environment and unique traditions, and the more we can simulate that, the better. And every place is different, but been to them all, so I got a pretty good feel for what to expect.
Got another question here from one of our guests at Quaker Steak and Lube. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Lori Kay from North Brunswick. I was very excited to hear on our way up here today that Kimoko Toure was picked for the NFLPA Bowl. I was just curious about, I know that he hasn't been 100% this year, but I'd love to hear you talk about how his contributions have made a difference this year, and what do you think about his professional potential?
I'll start. I'm just really happy about his maturity more than anything, to be honest with you. When we first got here, Kimoko was a talented player. But I'm not sure Kimoko really bought into the commitment and the work ethic it took to develop himself to be an every down player, be as good as he could be. And really the light switch went on this last January. I saw a different kid. It was important to him. The way he came in, it worked out was different. He came in with a purpose, a different mindset. His weight, getting his weight up became important to him. Being able to play consistently with great effort in practice was important to him. He had a tremendous spring practice. It was unfortunate in training camp. He had some setbacks physically with some headaches and some other things that have come up along the way that have forced him to miss some time. But I'll tell you what he has done. He's played through injury this year too. He would not have done that before. So he's grown up in so many ways, not just the talent and his football ability, but more the mental part of it. And couldn't be happier for him. And the way he's played, he's going to have professional opportunities, and he still needs to develop and learn. Things. Football hasn't been there for a lot of his life. He's relatively a new player still to football, but I think he's got a chance to have a bright future. But he still needs to develop, and he'll do that here through the rest of the year, and somebody will give him a chance to do that at the next level too.
Great, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I saw him right before the season started, and we were chatting, and he said that he was up 15 pounds and was down to 4% body fat. Yeah. And I told him,
I wish I could do that.
I told him to call me when he got down to 3, like me.
Yeah, I'm looking at this monitor right now. I don't like what I see. I'm gonna have to get on that Kimoko training routine.
But nonetheless, I mean, this is a kid that athletically, when healthy, is freakish in a lot of ways in what he can do.
Yeah, he's a very talented individual. I try to talk to these guys all the time, though, that talent can only take you so far. I've been fortunate to be around some outstanding defensive ends. In my career, J.J. Watt, who a lot of people regard as one of the best players in the game, and then Joey Bosa, who also is a very talented player. And there's some things that set them apart. They're talented players, but they're very tough. They're very disciplined. They're very focused. Every chance they get to be the best that they can be, they do it. They go really hard. They don't let anybody stand in their way of them trying to be as good as they can be. And those are the things I'm trying to help get Kimoko to understand. He's starting to understand that, but there's certain things that do set elite top-level players apart from others when talent is the same, and it's those intrinsic things that Kimoko is learning how to do.
And that's what I always wondered too, Coach. As a coach, when you have those guys that could be elite and trying to get that switch to flip on, is it a certain method that you use on each guy, or is it just different how they tick? But how do you get that, try to get the best out of them to live up to their full potential and play at that elite level at all times?
Well, I wish I could open up the coach's manual to page 50 and it would tell you how to do that. Unfortunately, there's not a section for that. Motivation comes in all different forms, and you really need to know your players to understand what does motivate them. And that's what I love about coaching. It's that part of it is building a relationship where you truly understand your players, what makes them tick, what motivates them. And then the challenge as a coach is to adjust and adapt yourself to that individual situation and try to make him be as good as he can be and bring the best out of him. And some coaches get it, some coaches don't. I struggle with that at times. and it's something I got to continue to get better at. And Kamoko, what motivates him is different than what motivates Deontay Roberts, or Tariq Cole. It's all different. And, as a coach, if you're not able to adjust and to adapt, you won't be doing this very long.
877-384-1869. We'll get to Andy. We'll get to a couple other callers. We got a couple open lines as well. Your questions for Coach Ash. And you can also tweet us at Rutgers Radio. We'll take a quick timeout. If you're here in attendance at Quaker Steak and Lube, by all means, come on up front and get your question in for Rutgers head coach Chris Ash. More on the matchup with Indiana coming up in just a bit. You're listening to the Chris Ash Show.
ESPN's Neil Everett here. This college football season, Nissan's putting you in the driver's seat. Go to NissanHeismanHouse.com. Build a customized Titan wrapped in your school's colors. Then register for a chance to win it. Enter the Nissan Heisman House Sweepstakes. Take on today.
Get to Nissan, proud partner of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Ends 12/8/17. Open to residents of USDC 18 and older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes. Sponsored by Nissan North America.
You're on the couch watching the game, and your friend hands you an ice-cold bottle of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. This is a big moment. That's the sound you love. And that new and improved taste? Yeah, that's the refreshing, delicious, real Coca-Cola taste that you just can't get enough of. All this with zero sugar and 0 calories. Perfection. And then, touchdown! Refresh your game day with the new and improved taste of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Taste the feeling.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
Last time on College Sports Now.
You have to have dessert. When you get a full belly, all right, and I use this with my kids will tell me this, there's always a little space to fit a little creme brulee around. Now that it's like a pudding style with a little glaze on top. It fits in all of the nooks and crannies left in your belly.
Listen to College Sports Now, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, exclusively on TuneIn, and follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets. TuneIn, your everything audio app.
Once again, thanks for joining us for the final edition of the Chris Ash Show, with Thanksgiving coming next week. So this will do it for us this year, but we got plenty of time for your questions for the head coach. We are live at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison. And if you have questions and you're in attendance here, by all means, come on up front and ask the coach. We will get to the calls in just a second, but I have spilled ice all over my keyboard.
You're going to ruin that keyboard.
I am just...
you got that new job, though. You can buy a new one.
I'm not rolling in that ash money, but we're doing okay. Let's get back to the calls and bring in our guy, Andy in Hillsboro. Andy, thanks for being patient. You're up next.
Yeah, the question for Coach Ash. But first, I wanted to congratulate you, Chris, on your new appointment with the Fan. That's going to be very exciting.
Thank you very much. All right, we get it. Enough. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And an even bigger congratulations to Eric on his recent lecture at a very prestigious graduate school class. Great job, Eric.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, but the question for Coach Ash is the dramatic improvement on the offensive line. Is that due to Kenny P, the weight room, and all of that training, or more so to the guys just getting used to playing with each other another season?
It's all the above. I think our strength staff does an outstanding job, but the credit really lies with the players because I don't care if it's Coach Blazik, the O-line coach, Kenny Parker, and the strength staff, myself. You know, as a coach, you can only let you lay out the plan. You try to motivate the guys to work it as hard as they can, but they're the ones that have to do it. And we knew we needed to get bigger, stronger, and leaner up front on both sides of the ball. We want to be outstanding as an offensive line football team, and we had a lot of work to do to get that done. And to the kids' credit, they have really worked the plan. They bought into getting bigger and stronger. They've got great chemistry in the room. We call it hunt work. It's extra work. They put in a lot of hunt work in the off season to study film, to work on their fundamentals and techniques, to become a strong unit, because we all know an offensive line is not determined by the play of one individual. It's by all 5 of them working together. And they've spent a lot of time trying to improve our offensive line, and I'm excited about where it's at right now. We just got to keep going and getting better.
Great. Thanks a lot. Good luck in Indiana.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Andy. We appreciate it very much. Let's get to a couple of questions on Twitter. First one is from Jim. Coach, I know it's early to ask about this, but do you intend or do you expect Coach Kill to return next year? And listen, Coach has done a terrific job this season, and he's a guy that's really made a difference, you can tell. And I would think for you, too, in your second year as a head coach, it's nice to have a guy that's been a head coach before on your staff.
Unless Coach has got some retirement plans I don't know about, I would anticipate him coming back. But we don't think about that and don't have those conversations until the end of the season. Football, whether it's college or NFL, is a crazy business, and people come and go a lot. And I really like having him on staff. He really enjoys being here. I think we've got great chemistry on our staff. He really gets along well with the offensive staff and the players, and really enjoys what he's doing. So. We'll have those conversations at the end of the season, but fully anticipate him being back.
And I want to take it away from football for a minute, because this is our last show. We don't get to ask next week. What is Thanksgiving like in the Ash household? And what's the favorite meal? What's the go-to meal for Coach Ash on Thanksgiving?
You really want to know what it's like in our house?
Here we
so
break it down, Phil.
On Thursday, we get up, we go to practice. We have meetings, we go to practice. This year we'll have our senior tribute. Because it's our last game, so we'll have our senior tribute on Thursday after practice. Go back to the office, do a little bit more work, and then by the time, I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock, I'll finally go home. I'll go home. I'll probably get yelled at by my kids, get yelled at by my wife. I need to do this. I need to do that. Finally, we'll probably eat, and then try to study some more film and go to bed. I mean, that's the day.
What's the go-to meal then, at least?
What the part of the meal? The go-to? Is it the stuffing? Is it the
I'm gonna tell you this. You won't believe me. I'm a really picky eater. So a lot of things that would probably be eaten at a normal home for Thanksgiving that doesn't get eaten at our place. You make me some turkey, mashed potatoes, and pumpkin pie, and I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot. What's your go-to?
I'm sorry. My plate. You got to start off with the baked ziti first. Then you get some baked mac and cheese.
I thought you said you were picky.
I am picky, but I like what I like. By baked ziti. Then you go after that. That's one plate. Then you got to get the baked mac and cheese with the turkey and some collard greens on the side. And then after that, you get my mom makes these cheesecake tart cupcakes. And then you get some sweet potato pie. And then some chocolate cake after too. So there's a little bit. I'm just saying, I'm a D lineman, coach. So we like to eat. Chris,
I like that.
If you try to get that 3% body percent up, you come over and Coach Ash, we'll show you some soul food cooking.
You know what? I might have to stop over on my way home.
It doesn't sound like we're going to get cheated if we do.
Nope.
Just to follow, it's a great holiday. It's a great opportunity to spend time with family, and in coaching, you don't get those opportunities much. But when we get done with our players on Thanksgiving, we are excited as a family to get together.
And you know what? I mean, I know that it's something that you bring up at times during the course of the year, but the sacrifice of the football coach's family during the season is really so overlooked. And I know that that's something that you really put a premium on and can't begin to really express your appreciation for the families of your coaching staff.
Yeah. I mean, they go through a lot. The wives and the kids, basically, they're single parents. And in college football, it's only getting worse with some of the new recruiting rules and things that you're involved with in the off season. Everyone thinks it's August till December or whatever with the season, but the amount of time that's required in the off season through recruiting and working with our players is an insane amount of time too. It's different than any other level. High school and the NFL. So again, hats off to a coach's wife and what they go through and what the kids go through when the dad's not around. And especially if you're on a team that's not doing real well. The negativity and things they hear and go through is one of a kind. But they're rock solid, and I'm fortunate that I've got a great wife, and my kids understand it, and they're very supportive.
And I wanted to ask you about the players, Coach. Do you give them time off, the ones that are local, to go home and encourage them to bring some of their teammates home for a little bit for the meal, and then get back to work on Friday?
Yeah, we'll get done Thursday early afternoon, and guys that can go home will get a chance to go home, and they'll come back Friday before we start our normal Friday afternoon routine, getting ready for our last game.
All right, let's get another phone call in. Andy is in Downingtown, and he joins us next on the Chris Ash Show. Andy, how are you?
Hey there, Grumpy Bear.
How are you, man? It's one of my Philly callers. What's going on?
So, quick question for you. What's the impact of Trevor Morris, and what's his future?
The impact of Trevor Morris on our football team is really high right now, to be honest with you. Trevor's had a great season. He's just like a lot of the other players. I could sit here and rattle off a number of players that really developed themselves in the last year and are having a much improved season this year because of all that hard work and effort that they put in. And Trevor is one of those guys. Just like when we're talking about Deontay Roberts making plays in the Penn State game because of his time and effort spent on studying film and reading his keys and knowing him inside out. Trevor's done the same thing. And I really like Trevor, and Deontay is our two inside linebackers. They've got a great relationship. They work well together. They communicate well together. They challenge each other, and they're making each other better. And it's really been fun to watch.
Appreciate you checking in, Eddie. Thank you very much. When we come back, we'll take a quick timeout, and when we return here to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison, I want to ask you about, since we won't have the chance next week, a couple of your seniors and the impact that they've had, and also senior day as a whole, and your experience when you were a player at Drake and what that was like. We'll get into that and more, and also the matchup with Indiana. It's all still on the way. Thanks for joining us this week. You're listening to The Chris Ash Show.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube, Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison, 732-777-WING.
For Rutgers fans, Saturday is game day. For business owners, it's another day in your work week. UPS gets that, and that's why they offer Saturday delivery, so you can keep things running smoothly, even while your customers drop everything for the game. Stay on top of your game. Ship with UPS, official logistics company of Rutgers Athletics.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
You're on the couch watching the game, and your friend hands you an ice-cold bottle of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. This is a big moment. That's the sound you love. And that new and improved taste? Yeah, that's the refreshing, delicious, real Coca-Cola taste that you just can't get enough of. All this with zero sugar and 0 calories. Perfection. And then, touchdown! Refresh your game day with the new and improved taste of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Taste the feeling.
You couldn't miss that wedding, birthday party, or whatever event you felt obligated to attend. So you missed the game. And more importantly, the game program. Not to worry. IMGProducts.net has got you covered with official programs and yearbooks from many of the nation's top schools, plus conference and NCAA championships. Visit IMGProducts.net to browse the hundreds of publications available. IMGProducts.net. We've got you covered.
Back once again for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. Rutgers taking on Indiana this coming Saturday. Let's talk a little bit about that matchup, Coach. We still have time for your calls, by the way, at 877-384-1869. Or if you're in attendance, come on up front to the microphone. We will get your questions in for the coach. Tweet us at Rutgers Radio as well. Okay, so on the road for Indiana this week. Tell us a little bit about Tom Allen's team and what you expect to see.
You know, when I look at their football team, you know, I kind of feel like I'm looking at ours a little bit. They play really hard. They're physical. They want to be a physical, tough offensive line and defensive line. They want to play well in special teams. You know, and you know, just you can see that his style that he brought to Indiana's defense last year. He's trying to spread it throughout his whole football team. And you know, I have a lot of respect for what Kevin Wilson did there at Indiana, and Tom is just trying to take it to another level. And did a great job with the defense last year, and doing a great job with the full team this year. They've had a tough stretch. You know, they've played about every top team in our league, and they've played them very competitively and very close, and just haven't maybe come out on the winning end. But it's going to be a tough game. They're chasing the same thing we are, and we're sitting here in similar situations. And you know, the best prepared team and the team that can execute the best on Saturday will have a chance to win.
And anything specific you see about any of their players that sticks out to you on the film that you could share, maybe?
Yeah, you know, it's just obviously spent a lot of time studying their offense. Like the quarterback, a big, tall, strong-arm kid that can throw the ball. They played a couple quarterbacks. The other guy is more of an athletic guy, you know, dual-threat guy, can run. Lagnow is more the thrower. You know, Simi Cobb's an outstanding receiver. He's a big threat, one that we're really worried about. He can catch the deep ball. He can big body you up on the shorter passes. It's going to be a tremendous challenge. He gets a lot of pass interference calls against the defensive backs. You know, again, defensively, you know, T. Scales, their linebackers, an outstanding player, but they move and stunt and blitz a lot, get a lot of TFLs, get a lot of sacks. But you know, I like what I see from their football team, and again, it's going to be a great opportunity out at Indiana, but a tremendous challenge also.
To your point on Cobb, 63 catches this year and 7 touchdowns, and for Scales, you got 10.5 tackles for loss and 5 sacks, so he's put up some pretty good numbers and a couple of interceptions as well to go with 80 tackles on the season. I'm curious, with Kevin Wilson gone, how different is their offense from a year ago, if it is at all different?
Very similar. You know, I think they've done a good job of carrying. You know, Kevin's a really good offensive coach.
Oh yeah, and that's why he's back at Ohio State. It didn't take long. Yeah.
No, and ever since Kevin's been at Indiana, their offense has been really effective. I remember going against Kevin when I was at Wisconsin his first year, and in year one, he got that offense humming. They were going at a really fast pace. They've been known to be the fastest offense in our league, and they had good balance. They could run and throw it. And you know, what I really liked about what Kevin did there, you know, there was years that he could run the ball better, so that's what they did. There were years he could throw the ball better, and that's what he did. Just adjusted and adapted to, you know, his personnel, and did a great job. So I think you know, Tom's done a great job of, you know, taking over as the head coach, but identifying the things that they did really well on offense and keeping them. And now DeBoer has changed some things. He's brought some of his own stuff, his own flavor to it. But you know, the basic concepts, the majority of the concepts and the identity of what they have is similar to what they've always been operating with.
And experience, you know, always helps in any regard. And when you see a coach that you've seen multiple times and over the years, can you tell us what it's like as a coach now? What do you do turn on that film and you look for those tendencies for different things they may have done this year, or you see it this year, or something that may stick in your head out from, you know, something that they did in the past? What is that like as a coach?
You know, when you do play against teams and coaches year in and year out, you start to build a file on them. And when you turn on the film, you can usually see that coach's identity, you know, come through, and what their overall philosophy is when you play against them. And you do look for things that they may adjust and adapt and tweak from year to year. What are they doing better, you know, and differently and things like that. But it's just it's a tremendous challenge. You know, that's why I love coaching, is that challenge, that competitive spirit. You know, that you got to bring every single week to get prepared to go out and compete against great players and other great coaches. And but it is fun and unique to go against the coaches that have been around for a little bit and see how they adjust and adapt and try to make things better in their own program.
I want to ask you about your seniors because, as we said, we won't have a show next week with Thanksgiving holiday, and it'll be leading into Senior Day. Some of these guys who didn't necessarily, when they came to Rutgers, sign up for Chris Ash, but have been a big part of your team that you have leaned on for leadership. The guys like Sebastian Joseph and Dorian Miller, guys like this that just popped to mind immediately. Just give us a feel for what they have meant to you over the last couple of years and the impact that they've made on the program.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenging situation when a new coach comes in because you didn't recruit the guys. They didn't make a commitment to you and your program, your culture, your style of play on offense, defense, and special teams. They didn't commit to that, that can be a challenge. And the first thing you have to do is start to build a relationship with them. You start to earn their trust and them get to trust that you getting to trust them and them getting to trust you and getting to know them. And the thing I like about this senior class is they've been bought in, they've been committed. After last season's results that weren't much fun, this senior class made a decision after the 2016 season that they wanted to change the narrative around Rutgers football, and they felt an obligation to get this thing going back in the right direction. And when you do that, it does come down to your older players. It does come down to your seniors, not your freshmen. Everyone talks about you got to go recruit your players and that, but no, you don't. You got to build relationships with the kids that are in the program. You got to develop those players that are in the program. You got to help them be the best that they can be, and that's the fastest way to get your program turned around. And that's what this senior class has helped us do. We're not turned around. I'm not saying that at all, but we are headed in the right direction. It's because of this senior class and the leadership they provided and the commitment they've made and the work that they've put in.
And I was going to actually ask you about leadership. You can lead at any level. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior. But do you have any certain meetings with the senior class and you have a one-on-one conversation with them and just say, I know you guys didn't sign up for me, but you guys are the seniors, you guys are the leadership of this team and what we're doing here, and you're an intricate part of what we're trying to build and trying to show these younger guys on what it's like and being that example for them. Do you have that certain meeting with them?
Yeah, we early in the season and in the off season and training camp, I have some senior only meetings. We do have a leadership committee that I meet with more so than just the seniors, and it's a committee made up of all classes. That's voted on by their peers. So I meet with that group more. I do meet with the captains, separately also, and then I do a lot of one-on-one meetings with particular players. Just to find out what's going on in their life, how they're doing academically, socially, how their family is, or anything that we can be doing to help them. But that's all part of the process. But again, we talk as a football team. But a lot of people talked about a recruiting class coming in, how it was going to help do this, help do that, and I said, no, guys, the way that we're going to win games is because of our juniors and our seniors playing their best football, and that's really what. Fortunately, we've had that this year. We've had a lot of guys. You talked about Rob Martin already. You talked about some of the other seniors. They're playing their best football of their career right now, and that's why we're more competitive, and that's why we've been able to win some games.
For you personally, what do you tell the seniors going into senior day? Because it can be an emotional experience for them.
Yeah, it is. It's emotional. It's tears of joy, tears of sadness, tears of fear of what the next chapter is going to be, because a lot of them don't know. This is right now, before the season's over, it's a really scary time for a lot of them because they don't know what's next. They've been involved in football, whether it's high school and college football, for the majority of their life. The reality is starting to sit in with some of them. Football may not be a part of their future anymore. Some of them are going to have an opportunity to go on. They're trying to figure out their plans on where they're going to go train and what they're going to do. Our job right now is to try to get them to focus on finishing out the season and being the best that they can be right now. But when we get to senior day, it will be an emotional time for players, for coaches, for families. And the thing we try to stress upon these guys is use the lessons that you learn in football to help you have a successful life. But also know that we're always here to help you, and if you need something, we're here to come back and use us and lean on us to help you get to the place that you want to get to.
And what type of things do you tell them to keep that focus? When you have that emotional time of running out the tunnel, shaking your hand, and then see your family, give them a hug, things like that. But then you got to turn the switch on and play a game too. So you were able to do it once as a head coach already. So is there anything that specific that you've learned from that experience and trying to get the guys to go
forward? I didn't do a very damn good job in that first experience. I can tell you that's what I learned. But the senior day, the best way to have a senior day is go win a football game. And the best way to win a football game is to focus on the things that you need to do to get your job done. And senior day is a great day for the families and the players. But as soon as you hug and kiss your mom and dad or whatever the situation may be, it's time to go on and focus on your job and finish the day off, because that's the best way to celebrate the senior class and the football team and what they've done is to go win that game.
One last time out. We'll come back with more in a moment. You're listening to The Chris Ash Show.
When Samantha was in dire need of a new heart, she turned to RWJ Barnabas Health, who performs more adult heart transplants than any healthcare system on the East Coast.
I'm still here.
Jean cherishes every moment spent with her great-grandkids, thanks to our kidney transplant program that ranks among the nation's top 10.
Still here.
Robert promised his granddaughter he'd make it to her next birthday. Thanks to New Jersey's only lung transplant center, he did.
I'm not going anywhere.
From corneal and pancreatic transplants to heart, kidney, and lung, our patients aren't who they used to be. They're better. Learn more about our transplant centers at Newark Beth Israel Medical Center, St. Barnabas Medical Center, and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Visit rwjbh.org/transplant. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
When you're looking for tickets to that sold-out event, there's only one place to go. TickCity.com, the official secondary ticket partner of Rutgers Athletics. Scarlet Knight fans can save 10% on all orders when you use the discount code Rutgers at checkout. From sporting events to the hottest concerts, Broadway and family shows across the country, all your ticket needs are covered at your fan-friendly ticket source. TickCity.com. That's TIXCITY.com.
Couple of minutes left. Rutgers taking on Indiana here on the Chris Ash Show. One last one on Senior Day. I just wanted to ask you about yours at Drake and what that was like for you when you were playing DB there. What do you remember about it?
Honestly, not much. I remember it, again, just like I described right now, you go through with the players, it's a scary time because you want to celebrate your career and you want to celebrate with your teammates and all that stuff, but you're really worried about what's next because that next chapter is ready to get started, and ready or not, here it comes. And, you start to think about that, and that real life, that real world kind of hits you.
And I wanted to ask you one more football question, Coach, just about the defensive backs and the challenge they have going against Semi-Cows. What have you seen from guys like Isaiah Wharton, the development of these guys and how they've been able to, fill in for pretty much Blesson Austin this season after his injury?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with the secondary overall. Isaiah has done a great job. He's been pretty consistent throughout the year. He's had some ups and downs, but that's the life of a corner. Damon Hayes has come on. He's quietly and steadily continues to improve. Kind of had a rough start, his first start, but has really played some good football here recently, and really proud of him. And then the guys at the safety position. But I'm really excited about our secondary for next year. We get them all back. We've got some guys that have been redshirted that are being developed. We've got Trey Avery, who is a transfer that I think is going to be an outstanding football player. Then we've got some new guys that will be joining us. So I'm really, really jacked up about our secondary for the future.
Coach, we thank you for your generosity of time all season long. Thanks very much, and we appreciate it. Best of luck here in these last two games.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the fans that come out here every Wednesday. It's great to walk in here and see the smiling faces and all the true Rutgers supporters, and really appreciate you guys coming out. Can't thank you enough. And every Wednesday is a special day of the week to be able to come out and spend it with you guys and talk a little bit about our program. And, again, appreciate the support and look forward to seeing you guys as we move forward.
Great stuff. We want to thank Paul Schrager, Colin Osborne, Tim DeMartin, Jimmy Gill, Hasim Phillips, who have done a great job all season long for us. For Eric LeGrand and the coach, Chris Ash. This is Chris Carlin speaking, and thank you to everybody at Quaker Steak and Lube making us feel so welcome throughout the course of the year for the Chris Ash Show. Thanks, everybody. Rutgers in Indiana on Saturday. I'll see you then.
Good luck, Coach.
You've been listening to The Chris Ash Show on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Join us throughout the season from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison to hear from the head football coach of the Scarlet Knights. The Chris Ash Show has been brought to you by The Chris Ash Show is an exclusive presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports.